Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is another episode of the Advanced Platformer series, and in this video I'm going to actually wrap up this series because we have done a platformer series before and a lot of the stuff is similar, and my main focus of this series was interactivity, and I'm going to show you one last trick about it in this video, and then we are going to wrap this series up. So in the next video we'll start with our new series. First of all, before we do that, you want to make sure you select your background, and we are going to go under sorting layers here and add a background layer which we'll just call BGN. We'll put it behind everything else so that our background does not display on top of anything. We want to make sure that that does not happen. Okay, once we have got this, you can see that this looks pretty awesome. Another thing that we want to do is that we want to you can see we have got a tile map collider 2D here. That's actually not the most ideal thing to have because it can sometimes cause different kinds of glitches. For example, it can cause your player to get stuck between tiles and a bunch of other problems. So we want to not do that. Instead, what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and go under our tile map collider 2D and actually not use this, but instead turn on this tick here called used by composite. What this means is that it will essentially not be used on its own but by something called the composite collider. What it does is that it takes all of the colliders and instead of having separate boxes, combines them into one big polygonal kind of shape. And it also requires that it's applied with a rigid body, which we'll need to make static because we don't want our ground to be kind of going around. And once we do that, if you were encountering any glitches before, that should not happen anymore. And after that, as I said before, there is one final trick regarding the interactables that I'm going to show you in this video, and this trick you can use it to implement any kind of interaction in the game, like literally any kind of interaction. So in order to do that, if you remember, we were using an inheritance based approach inside of our interactable class. We are going to change that and not use that approach anymore. The reason we'll find that out in a second. What we'll do instead is we'll use events for this, and events are generally better for this, so we are going to use them instead. So let's just open this up, and you might not know what an event is. Let me just actually open this up, and we are going to remove this reference to player that we have got when we call interact, and we are going to remove this as well. Instead, we are going to add in here, we are going to first of all go ahead and say using Unity engine Unity engine dot events. So we are going to add that here, and once we have done that, we can basically like going down here and create a public Unity event. So a public Unity event, and this is going to be just an event that takes nothing, like no actual argument or anything, just a single kind of event. So we are going to create a Unity event here, which we are just going to call on interact. And then what we are going to do is we are going to when we call the interact function here, we are going to go ahead and go in here and just basically say on interact dot invoke. And this on interact will now be a function, will now be something. By the way, we can use the expression body here just to make things a bit cleaner. And what we are going to do is this on interact is now going to allow us to basically use this to kind of set different stuff in here. The reason it will give an error, by the way, is that right now we do not want this to inherit from interactable and don't want it to be that. So we are going to change this and make it mono behavior, and we are going to change this to be turn as well. And we are just going to make it a public void that takes no arguments whatsoever. And once we have done that, what we can do is we can go back under here and let it kind of do this, and you can see that it also gives another error saying that no overload whatever. So we are going to go ahead and actually remove this from here. So we are going to not pass in anything, and that is going to fix all of our problems for us, and this is going to allow us to use events for handling the actual stuff that we want to. So we are going to let this compile, and once it has compiled, we are going to add we are going to actually open up the switch prefab here. Let me open that up, and we are going to, along with the switch script we are going to also add an interactable, because now these two are separate things. And you can see this is our on interact event, which is currently empty. We are going to plus and add another thing here. For the object, we'll just pass in our switch here, that switch script that we have got, and in here we'll go under switch, and for the actual function that we want to call, we can just choose it here, and we're going to choose the turn function. and that is going to allow us to use an event-based approach instead of an inheritance-based approach to basically accomplish the same thing. Now this is much better to do because well, first of all, it's going to allow us to go ahead and just use this to have much cleaner code, and that is of course something that matters a lot. And the other thing that is going to allow us to do is you can extend this to many more complicated systems. So you can have an event inside of the switch class, and that event can be used to you have lift, do stuff, and a bunch of other stuff. So they are the options, the possibilities are endless as long as you are creative and can imagine different kind of stuff here. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this series, and in this series we learned the basic of how interactivity works and some events and stuff like that. So I'll see you in the next one, in which we are going to do with our next series, and I'm thinking about rebooting one of our previous series. So tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe as well, and bye.